Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to What You Need to Know. I am Sybil Wilkes, and normally we're talking to our friend J. Anthony Brown. He's on the set, ladies and gentlemen, taping his third season of assisted living down in Atlanta. So he obviously bigger name there with Tyler Perry and a real job. So Jay will join us on Tuesdays when he is able to. Right now they're filming in the evenings and they are on lockdown. So uh, we'll take that as it is. This is the What You Need to Know uh, live streaming show. It is on Facebook and on YouTube. And if you would like to, and we encourage you, please, to join us on our newsletter crew. And that is going to sybilwilkes.com. And you give us your name and your email address, and we'll have that in your email box every Monday through Friday morning. The live show here is Monday through Thursday. And Monday, obviously, we had a great show with our social activists, Coy Malone, and of course Chris Paul and Huggy Lowdown, the incredible duo there. Normally Jay is here on Tuesdays. Today, our friend Damon Williams, our comedian in the glass, breaking the glass, and he is going to be joining us here. And Wednesday and Thursday, Myra J. and Stephen Hill on Wednesdays and Thursdays with the incredible and talented and very wise George Wallace. All right, so we've been talking about this all weekend. We talked about it yesterday. Had word that things were going to take a change last night. But apparently, we still have word that the legendary rapper DMX is still in the hospital fighting for his life. According to multiple social media posts, his family and friends, joined by hundreds of fans who wanted to pay tribute to him at the vigil that we talked about last night, they did come together to hold that prayer vigil as he continues to fight for his life. His loved ones were joined by the fans who wanted to share their good wishes. Prayers for DMX was the hashtag, was trending following the event. And they said hundreds and hundreds of people. DMX, whose real name is Earl Simmons, definitely captured social media users' thoughts and prayers when he suffered from a heart attack over the weekend. They say that he has been revived several times since all of this took place. And so now we have seen a number of pieces in which DMX has been praying and following his spiritual journey, as it were. And here is an example of one of those prayers that he led.
Please walk with us through the bad times as well as the good. May we be heard and understood from the suburbs to the hood. May you judge us by our hearts and not by our mistakes, and see that we get our breakthrough, however long that it takes. May you fill that void in our souls that will lay our fears to rest. But there's no way we can live for Jesus when we're living in the flesh. So I pray that you allow our spirits to be born, grow strong, move on, know right from wrong. 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. Do not love the world or anything in the world. And we know what that means, but listen, we know the distance we need to be away from fire to keep it missing, but that doesn't mean we'll listen. Lord, you take care of fools and babies. Teach women to honor their men and men respect their ladies, but lately, so many of us have gone astray, doing wrong for so long that we've forgotten the way. Please bring us back home, instill in us the word, which is our backbone. We're just children that act grown. There is so much that we're entitled to, yet we receive so little. Because in this time of spiritual warfare, we're comfortable in the middle. So I pray that you open our eyes, give us the anointing to recognize the devil and his lies. If we keep our actions wise, our prayers sincere, our head to the sky, you will diminish our fears. In Jesus' mighty name we have prayed. Amen.
Amen.
Amen, indeed. As you saw, that was during the Versus earlier episode of a Versus, not a battle, but you understood, it was Snoop Dogg there. Let us go to our friend and welcome in Damon Williams, comedy.com. Hey, Damon.
Hey, Sip.
How are you?
Yes, I'm doing well. How's everything and everybody?
Well, everything and everybody, we are starting off with our first story about folks sending their prayers and having a vigil for DMX last night.
Yes.
And apparently he's still holding on, according to news reports. I did hear last night that they were going to take him off of life support, but apparently that has not happened. And his family has been there. I didn't know that he had 15 children, but
Wow.
many, if not all of the children have been there with him at some point or another in the hospital. in New York.
I
So.
wonder if he knows he had 15 children.
Well,
Wow.
Damon, that's a good point. Because people do have a way of turning up at events
That's
like
what I was
this.
about to say. Yeah, they come out the woodwork. That's when you meet all your cousins and relatives in times of trouble like this.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of folks are sending their love to him. Ti sent him a touching Instagram post. He said, "Shake back, big bro. We made plans. Man, we laughed so hard about how far we've made it in this life this night. I appreciate you so much for pulling up." He went on to say, "So now I am telling you, like you told me, this too shall pass. We need real ones like you around." And that is that's a touching post. And he's 50 years old, Damon. I mean,
Wow.
folks are that's that time period where you start to see this, obviously, but you just don't want to think that real ones like DMX are on the edge there. They're on that transition edge, if you will.
Yeah, and he's a troubled soul, but he's so brilliant on so many levels,
Right.
and it's like, the brilliant ones, but they leave us, the ones that are
Yeah.
captivated, the one that touch us. Like Bernie Mac was 50 when he passed,
Right. Yeah.
Michael Jackson 50 when he passed. We're not saying
Mhm.
DMX is passing, but
Mhm.
it's funny. That's why we got to love on our people when we hear. That's why it was so great to see that Versus this weekend.
Yeah.
Um, just to see the cats get their flowers from the people, and young people finding out who they are, and
Hmm.
yeah, and
and
young
and
women.
having and we could talk about this, Damon, in entertainment, but also
Okay.
talk about who has swag and who doesn't. That was an interesting conversation we had yesterday, but I'd love to get your take on that as well.
Right.
So we also want to talk about, so as we are watching about DMX and talking about these people who have left us at too young of an age. Um, then there's the other side of this, Damon, and this took place in the Maryland area today. A Navy petty officer, third class, shot and critically injured two men this morning at a business park in Frederick, Maryland, after which the 38-year-old tried to go back to the military base, and he was shot by authorities at the Dietrich military base. So two victims were shot in a Navy installation within a business park, a tech park. They initially reported to have sustained life-threatening injuries, and they were flown to shock trauma in the area. And they also said that the gunman, after the shooting, drove to the U.S. Army base Fort Detrick, where military police shot and killed him. And he has been identified as Fantahun Gurma Waltersabet, which I don't even know. He is
So
described. He is
with that name,
described.
he's still yet to be identified.
Yeah, exactly, David. And I
Wow.
kept, Googling and saying, what is this? What is the derivation of the name? And I couldn't get anything with that. And they did describe him in the press conference as a blonde with a military style haircut. I don't know if that's a bottle blonde, if that is, his original color. So, like I will tell you, quite honestly, the ramming of the barricade outside of the U.S. Capitol on Friday, we were able to discover very quickly that, and sadly, that this young man was Black. And because they went to his Facebook and said that he was a follower of Farrakhan. So then you're kind of thinking, okay, I know what we're dealing with here. In this case, I'm not getting anything. And so just a really tragic situation. And they're trying to figure out why. Just like with Friday, they're trying to figure out why. That young man turned out to have some mental issues and very troubled young man. In this case, this 38-year-old, why did he go and shoot these two fellas who are fellow military people, and then try to get back on base? And the general there said, our guys don't play, and he went through security, and they said their tactical forces, were right there, and they took him out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what people are going through, and it's hard to ever determine, especially now that he's been,
Yeah.
executed. But So sorry. It seems
God
like
bless you.
there's something in the air lately. You know, it's
Yeah.
these shootings. I mean, a string of rash shooting, and it all goes back, of course, to the whole argument about the availability of guns. But guns don't create the mental instability that's creating these situations. So I think first of all, we have a lack of mental health facilities, and those budgets have been cut over the years for people to go and get help and therapeutic assistance. So all we could do is what we always do: thoughts and prayers and hope.
Yeah, and hope. And hope. There is hope. And speaking of the guns and everything, this isn't what I had planned to talk to you about, but this is something that came to mind as we have just a couple of minutes left in the segment. It was revealed either last night or this morning that the president of the NRA, Wayne LaPierre, he went into hiding after events like Sandy Hook. He went into hiding because he was fearful that people would use his vaunted guns on him.
Wow.
Yeah. So the president of the NRA is a scaredy cat and understands the what these things can do. And he went into hiding. He went like on people's yachts and went off into the what is it, Bahamian or somewhere out in the Atlantic to islands and what have you, and stayed on the low while these people were suffering.
Grid, huh?
Yeah, and while the family of all the Sandy Hook victims and all were grieving, and people were so upset about these children who were killed, and he acted like something worse than a child and went off hiding.
Well, I mean, the whole gun culture. I mean, if you're a sport gun user and you go to the range and you shoot your gun and you take it and you put it back in the case and you bring it home, that's one thing. But these gun nuts that are out, all out in the woods with their guns and showing up at the Capitol with their guns and always flashing their guns will probably be the last ones to pull it when it comes time to use it. They'll kill a defenseless animal.
Right.
But they're, as you say, they some, I can't even use the language.
I know.
Yeah.
What you want to call them, you can't, or you don't feel like you can, but trust and believe, Huggy and Chris have used words like that before. So
yeah. Well, they're regular, so I don't want to hurt my spot. Plus, you never know who's gonna see this. So more power to everybody out there, because I'm too public to be, starting confrontation. So you went and hid on the yacht. You did what you felt you needed to do, sir.
Yeah, exactly. And now you're saying to yourself, let's move on.
and sing. Too many crazy people out here, and I'm on flyers all the time.
That's right. So now, Damon, it's time for our trending video, and we see a lot of crazy videos every day, and we have all of these horrific and very sad stories. And so I like to look at these stories the videos, and look for some positive ones, some fun ones, and that make you cry. Maybe you're thinking somebody's cutting up onions or something in the area. But here, see this about a hairstylist who is getting her flowers now.
Oh, nice.
Hey, what you got going on? Hey, Mike, what's up? They hair growing. Who you talking to? They hair growing down. What you got, girl? Y'all gonna have me fat as all this much. You're in your mouth. This little girl here.
Niece.
Bree! No, Bree, no, Bree, no. What? Nisi. Look at Bree. Oh, Lord, Jesus. No, Bree.
So,
Oh, girl. What you got, Pat?
let me tell y'all about Miss Pat. Miss Pat, and I don't want to get emotional. Miss Pat came into our lives for a reason, and not just for a season. Anytime I ask Miss Pat to do my hair on credit because I ain't have no money. She did it. She never asked. Not only did she do my hair, she did my daughter hair, my mama hair, my sister hair. She take care of her mother. She stay here all day long doing hair, looking out for people. She picked people up to do their hair. And she spoke life into me and encouraged me to open my own salon. So for that, I'm very appreciative and grateful and thankful. And I love her. And I promised her that I had something for her.
So that is what just lifted my heart to see that. And Damon, you are a guy who is out there and supportive of a lot of people, especially in your business. I know that you are extremely supportive of young female comedians, especially, but young folks coming up in the game. And so is there, so we're asking you as well as to others that are watching and listening today, is there someone to whom you would like to express your gratitude, or has someone done that to you? Let me just say that I think when they ended up counting the money, it was over $1,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna start with no. Ain't nobody gave me no $1,000. I can tell you that off the gate, out the bat. But I mean, there's a lot of people along the way that I would give credence to, or thanks to, and gratitude, like Michael Collier. Early in my career, he was one of the first people to ever take me on the road to open a show out of town, out of Chicago, because he liked what I was doing. When I had no name, I hadn't been on BET yet. George Wilborn, who people know from radio, who took me under his wing immediately when we met. And turns out he ended up being my cousin. Right. And that was our first time meeting when I first did stand-up. And, you know, he could have been funny acting. He had already been on Def Jam. So those two people really were instrumental early in my career. Sinbad's brother, Mark Atkins, and Andre Wiseman as partners. They did some fantastic things early in my career. 6 months in, I did Comic Justice. Wow. Tell you a very touching story. I was opening for Sinbad because Sinbad would let me, he always called to see if I was available whenever he comes to Chicago. So Chicago Theater, we're doing the show. And during the show, unfortunately, they found out backstage that his father had passed away.
Oh,
so the story goes from there. So now he's on stage during this performance and don't know yet. So he got his whole family, because they're from Michigan, and he was trying to get them all to come out on stage because he's like, you know, my family's all here. I want to show y'all, blah, blah, blah. But they all crying, so they can't come out. And he don't understand why they won't come out. So he said, well, y'all gonna front on me? And then he played it off. He did his little thing and he closed. When he came off, they told him. So now I'm standing there now. I haven't gotten paid. But there's no way I'm gonna ask. You know,
not when your daddy died.
Everybody, I know y'all crying, but I need my money. So I left, right? 20 minutes later, my phone rings and it's Sinbad himself. And he called me, told me to come back to his hotel and get my money because he realized that they didn't pay me. And so that moment just showed me the heart of Sinbad and his whole family, for him to even think of me in that time and to remember that at that time. So that's why I did Sinbad Saturday, because I love that brother. And so there have been a lot of stories of a lot of people that have, touched my life. But those three things I mentioned, got to give props to Mary Lindsay and Raymond Lambert from All Jokes Aside, the place where I started my career as well.
Oh, that's so nice. And it's nice to remember folks like that, Damon. It's really, really good on you. And I didn't know about the Sinbad relationship. I was just touched by, the Sinbad Saturday that you started there. Have you spoken to him or anybody lately, by the way?
The family, yeah. I'm getting updates from the family, and they say he's progressing. I don't pry. I just check in every week or so and say, how's everything going? And they'll give me a thumbs up, and I leave it at that. So he's rehabbing, and we all still praying for Sinbad, to come back and be Sinbad.
Right. And I will just also tell people that you are very good about checking on people. And I know that you and Juanita, you and your wife have gone down to see Tom and been a part of that as well. So that's really
absolutely nice. Yeah, we see Tom every time. We just saw him a couple of weeks ago. So and we talk to him. We talk about TV shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Anybody, if you want to have a conversation with Tom right now, we'll go watch all the episodes of Shameless, watch Snowfall, watch Snowfall.
You name it.
Yeah,
And
his favorite.
he called me last night, Damon, to talk about baseball because now he's into baseball because of the Major League Baseball taking the All-Star game out of Atlanta. So.
And that's what it would take, a whole Fight the Power Black movement to get us into
Right.
baseball. Because
Right.
I know you grew up on baseball, but this early in the season, you got so many games left, and baseball doesn't have a whole lot of black stars. And they said it was a benevolent move, but I'm thinking after All-Star weekend, they probably wanted to get the hell out of Atlanta anyway. After they saw,
After what
after
happened.
they saw
So
how
we'll
they
take
played
that.
on
We'll take that as a part of what you need to know as we move into, because we have been talking about that. I'm the only one. The rest of the What You Need to Know news staff is not so much talking about the baseball thing, but it's for the political angle. It's just me.
Yeah.
So are you watching the Derek Chauvin murder trial?
I have not watched the trial.
Okay.
I'm so, we've been inundated with so many of these stories, and life is about living right now. And so for me, I'm trying to enjoy the fact that I was with both my parents last night, watching the game. My mother was in Indianapolis. So my mother is from Indianapolis. My brother drove her to Indianapolis, and I went and picked her up yesterday. So we rode back yesterday. So I haven't been in the house. We've been on the road as well this past weekend. As you know, I was just in Dallas. So I haven't really tuned into it. And it's, what's going to happen is going to happen. And I'll just wait for the results on this one.
You are not alone. I think me and a lady at the Albertsons grocery store are like the only two Black folks that are watching this trial. And I don't know how we got into the conversation. I was standing in the grocery store the other day and she said, "So you watching the trial too, huh?" And I said, "Yeah, but everybody else, to a person, Damon, Black folks are not watching this because as you say, whatever happens will happen. And people don't have a lot of security in thinking that, the right thing is going to be done because,
indeed.
And because as we said, only thing that the defense needs is one person on that jury and to go in Derek Chauvin's way. Or
Right.
maybe even, not to have a vote at all. So, but the prosecution is doing a masterful job. The defense, not so much. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens when they bring their people up. But in their cross-examination, it's not great. And the defense is struggling mightily. But the prosecutors, and they have a long team of prosecutors there who are on this case. But yesterday.
And it's hard to dispute a crime that you watch with your own eyes, even though we know that doesn't always clarify like a Rodney King situation. But this is like it's right there. I mean, so Damon, you just never know the heart and mind of the jurors, and that's the scary part.
So the other thing that was enlightening on the first day was not the 8 minutes and 46 seconds, but 9 minutes and 29 seconds. It was even longer. And what was emotional for me was watching these people from young kids all the way up to an elderly gentleman who was probably in his 70s, Mr. McWilliams, who were there. They were the witnesses to this, to history, and the young woman that took the video, and and how they have relived this day after day after day. And this, I mean, even this gentleman. Who was the one saying, "Come on, bro, don't fight it." And he's like, "Get up, get up." And he said, "I can't." And all of these people that were there and how they relive it, and even the young woman that took the video said every night she is apologizing to George Floyd because she sees her father, she sees her brothers, and she sees this, and she's very sorry that she didn't do anything, but she did. What she did changed the whole game.
Yes,
in
absolutely.
terms of the video. And so it's just really powerful. Now it's getting into the weeds. The chief of police who fired Derek Chauvin was on the stand yesterday, and they were talking about the use of force and de-escalation. And so they continue that today. And there was a woman who was on the stand today, and she said, "Oh, he knew exactly what he was doing. He's been there in my classes where I've shown people about helping someone who's going through cardiac arrest or while you're waiting for EMTs to come, what to do. And he's been in my classes. He has filled in for me." And so, setting that up as well. It's going to be interesting, and this is going to go. This is just the beginning of the second week, Damon. So, and they're expecting it to go at least a month.
Yeah,
And
and
I don't
see,
know.
that's the other part. The distance, the length of these trials, so I can catch up.
Yeah, for real.
I can
Yeah, if
definitely
you
catch
really
up.
want to. Yeah, for
Right.
sure. Yeah.
But
Um,
it's the bigger thing though, because George Floyd was sacrificed in this way, but he sparked a worldwide movement,
yeah.
and that's the legacy he'll leave, and that's the bigger picture. Even if this officer beats the case, karma and life, and if you believe in that, we'll catch up with him. Even though it's been real slow with Zimmerman.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I don't understand how he's still around, and Black people are killing each other every day. But that's just me talking.
I'm
So
with you.
I think it'll happen. What's meant to happen with this officer will happen, but the bigger picture is hopefully we'll be a better place overall based on his loss of his life.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that the family has to relive this every day, because one family member is allowed to be in the courtroom every day. And so his brothers and sisters and what have you are there. And so they alternate. Everybody gets, if they want to. I think they even took one of the chairs out because it was not being used because it's physical distancing and all of that.
Yeah.
So we on What You Need to Know will keep you up to date. It does take a lot out of you, Damon. I got to tell you. And like these other people, the stories that we do for this, as we try to appeal to Black people, all the stories are that's why I look at the videos and want some lightness, want some some kind of lighter moments as opposed to this, because not only do we talk about the things as they are happening to Black people, but then we especially the coronavirus, which we have been doing every day a coronavirus update. And so that does, that brings you down as well. And talking about, I was thinking about you and your mom when you were talking about her being in Indianapolis, because a lot of people are concerned about the coronavirus, because this one young man who was I think he was an Alabama fan, and he went to Indianapolis, came back, he died. He was like 23 years old. He died from the coronavirus. And so now they're contact tracing, trying to figure out, who he was with, and because they said he went to all the games. And so that's scary.
Yeah, my mother only went to my cousin Danny's house. That was our whole stay. My cousin Danny, my first cousin, my mother's sister's son, and he just laid her out, and she just relaxed at his house. He got a new place, and that's all she did. She was chill because she checked the stats. She's double vaccinated, of course, but she was definitely on her square as far as that's concerned. I'm kind of concerned about Miss Pat. They didn't gave her the money, but none of them had on masks. They was kissing each other and everything.
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to check out, Damon, when this was taken, because a lot of those videos, just kind of recycle. And so it was one that I found this morning about 4:00 this morning, really disturbing, and I had to go back and find it. That it was like 2017, but all of these things just kind of keep going.
Yeah,
so.
Well, let's hope it was Miss Pat was way back in the day, and she's somewhere watching you right now.
Exactly. Yeah, and not double masked and all of that going on in that particular.
Indeed.
Do we have no? Okay. Damon, this is a story that is out of Texas, out of Fort Worth, where I am. And Crystal Mason is fighting for her freedom. And I think you probably were on the show when we were talking about this. She cast a provisional ballot on Election Day 2016. This Black woman and felon released on probation was sentenced to 5 years in prison for illegal voting in Tarrant County, Texas. She was helped by a poll worker when completing the provisional ballot, insists that she was unaware that she was ineligible to vote. Her ballot was never officially counted or tallied. And so this has gone through the court system. Her error resulted in her being indicted by a grand jury in March of 2018. So that's another 2 years, right? For this violation of the Texas election law, which says that a person must knowingly vote illegally to be guilty of a crime. So she was indicted for this. Her case is now headed to the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals. That's the highest state court for criminal cases. And she has asked for a new trial, but lost her case in that appellate court. and her latest appeal is her last chance to stay out of prison. She did her
That
time.
Wow, she's still in jail. I know exactly who you're talking about. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. And
Yeah.
even if they say she's guilty, it should be time served at this point.
Right, right. So her lawyer says they have made it clear in the Help America Vote Act of 2002 that provisional ballots should not be criminalized because they represent an offer to vote. They're not a vote in themselves. And as I said, this vote was not counted. It wasn't tallied. And so, and we're still going through this whole thing about voting and you know, taking away and making it more difficult for people to vote. Here's a Black woman who wanted to vote, even though who was on the ballot that year, and she gets penalized for this, for a vote that really wasn't even counted. So
yeah, and meanwhile, I read a story about a guy who he voted illegally for Trump with like a dead relative's identity, and I didn't hear much about him being locked up and all this time. It's sad what they're doing to suppress our vote, try to stop us from doing it. But I know one thing: you won't see her at a polling place when she get out, so it's gonna work for her. I bet you she won't be passing out no water. She ain't wearing no buttons. Right. She don't give a damn who is in office.
It could be her mama or daddy running, and she's not going. Nope, not gonna be me. Speaking of which, today is election day in a number of states, including Missouri, and I think it's Mississippi is among those that are voting today. I know that they're municipal elections, school boards, all of those things. And so don't disregard any of the elections. If you have an opportunity to vote, please, please, please do so. Because if you don't go this time, they could use it against you and say, oh, you haven't voted so many times, and so we removed you from the rolls. Remember that. And that is exactly what they are doing across the country. So if you are still able to vote, please do. Please.
Yeah, that's around here too. Our little trustees and such are up for election. Today is an election day for us as well.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, because there's so much going on in the city of Chicago. What do you think is going to happen with Mayor Lightfoot? And this is off the topic, but still talking about politics.
Right.
Just wondering your thoughts on her as a someone from the outside looking in.
She's gonna be a one-term mayor, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's what
I don't see. She snuck in there. See, people were not engaged in that election, and she won with such a small portion of people when no one knew anything about her and had no opinions about her. But now, just the fashion police gonna vote her out. They gonna galvanize their people and make sure that she does not represent Chicago any further in her gear.
David, was it you that talked about her Robert Hall wardrobe?
She dressed like she's surprised at every press conference. Like, that's right now. She's always like, oh. Well, I guess I'm gonna have this on then. I guess I'm wearing this every day. You guess you're wearing this? Yeah, that would be. All these press conferences are not a surprise. Look, her first weekend when she first won, she was still Mary-elect, or she might have been already in office. But she went and threw out the first pitch, and she had on these dusty little shoes and them pants. Man, that day the petition started to vote her out. Not to mention her mishandling of certain things from policy standpoint. All of the social activists, they are not riding with her because they feel like she is not, towing her weight for what they wanted for the platform for her address. She's having problems with the school board and the teachers union. The police officers don't like her, so the FOP. So she got a lot going against her in that way. I don't know who's a viable candidate to fill her shoes, but nobody should wear them because they're old and dusty. I don't think she's gonna get reelected. I don't think so.
The only dusties we like were the ones that Herb Kent used to play. Other than that, it didn't have anything to do with that.
Amen.
Today in our coronavirus update, folks need to know the IRS is issuing about 30 million checks to Social Security and other government program recipients after a delay. Stimulus payments of the $1,400 will be issued electronically or sent by mail with checks or prepaid debit cards tomorrow, April 7th. So we're talking 30 million checks, right? Payments will go to Social Security, Supplemental Security Income, and Railroad Retirement Board beneficiaries who did not file taxes this past year, 2020, or the year before in 2019, and did not use the IRS non-filers online portal last year. So if you know folks who should be getting some money and they have not, tomorrow may be their lucky day. In terms
I
of
do.
those
I was talking to my mother about that on the ride from Indianapolis because she said she didn't get the 6 or the 14. So hopefully she about to come up.
Okay, good for your mama. I hope that she does.
Yeah.
Some of the greatest videos and stories that you have shared are like when your family gets together, because you look like the spitting image of your dad and your son looks like the spitting image of you. But also when you guys during the pandemic and when you were socially distant, but those times when you all would get together in your bubble. And I just love the relationship you have with your family.
Yeah,
your
me too.
and
Unfortunately, and that was the silver lining in this whole pandemic. Our family bonded even greater because we have a weekly Zoom that we've continued to this day, every Tuesday. Oh snap!
I'll write you a note.
It's tonight, and you know, and we have I have my nephew. My brother's son is in Los Angeles. He spearheaded that, and he still administers it. So we got a lot of, we had conflict resolutions during that Zoom. We've had a lot of laughs. We talked about some things, and now we're trying to get together a financial plan for us,
nice.
On the family move. So yeah, some good things did come to light from the bubble, and my back deck was the ground central for the fam here.
Yeah, really nice.
Yeah.
And I'll ask you about the Tickaloose boat at another time.
You know why I was late coming up here? Because I was just going to look at a replacement. I'm trying to find me another boat because I talked to Brother T yesterday, and the man said, we've been waiting on you. I swear to God, yesterday, I talked to him yesterday. He said, man, I don't know what you're talking about. I ain't had no complaint with no people. We've been waiting on you to do things that the boat needs. I said, man, he said, well, you have to understand, at one point, the boat sunk. Well, how the hell that happened to your question? What the hell you mean my boat sunk? So it still took a loose because I was going to send somebody to get it, but I couldn't because it took a loose. Keep moving. What's the next segment? I'm looking for another.
Okay, Damon, we have to, I'm sorry, but there are people who don't know about the Took-a-Loose boat. This is Brother T, and you took your boat to have him fix it, was it been 3 years ago now?
We were still on the air, that's for sure. This saga continued. I missed all the last summer, and then the summer previously, he had it from the previous fall, but he never got it correct. So yeah, it's been 2 whole summers. I got out for 3 days the previous summer, and then it was a problem. So yeah, that's our little gathering thing. That's another thing for the family. So
there you all get together,
find another boat. But I'm scared to buy another boat because it might lock down again out here. Then I'm stuck with a boat that I can't afford. So I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna go get it from him and put that money into fixing that boat, or just get another boat. But then hopefully the boat I can afford don't have the same problems that it's a saga. And I know a lot of people got much worse issues to deal with.
But that's your thing. That's what brings you joy, being out on the water and all of that. So of course. And
we're not talking about a yacht, people. We're talking about like a boat you could buy a boat for $5,000. I just looked at one that'll be seaworthy. People are always trying to get rid of boats because the storage and the mechanics. Those are the 2 reasons why you don't want to. They say your favorite day is when you buy your boat, when you sell it.
And we sell it. Ira D. West said on Facebook, said you and that damn boat. This boat story again. I died the last time. It's still and let me tell you what makes it so much fun is because Damon does a really good impression of him, and then he called and we heard his voicemail. And so it was so much fun. And so
good evening, friends. This is Brother Christ Auto Body and Repair. Christ. where we do it right the first time. This is how he opens his question. He ain't do it right the first time, but it's gonna take 32 more times.
And it could get sunk.
One time somebody's like, "Hey man, where's your boat? Because I'm pretty sure I saw it on 147 in Houston." I'm like, "What the hell am I doing on the street?"
Just on the back of Brother T's truck, and oh golly. Okay, David. So it's time for our question of the day, and it has nothing to do with the Tuckaloosa and boat and the brother and the Christian boat fixer. But you came to mind with this question, and so I think your love story with your wife is positively those are goals, you know, couple goals. Those are marital goals that you guys have. Hashtag rather. And so, what is the most important quality that your mate possesses that appeals to you, or for people who are watching this today that you are looking for? And here are the lovely Damon and Juanita there, and watching them both in their Instagram works and everything. Just a beautiful couple. And so, and I love the way you respond to her Instagram posts and things like that. And so it's great. So what is it about your wife that is she is beautiful. She's got an incredible body. She's funny. She is, she's a great, she appears to be a great mother that we can see from her relationship with her children and what have you. So what is it about Juanita that got you and makes you love her so much every day?
Well, Sybil, I found a unicorn. You heard them descriptions. But no, it's very important to be compatible and to have an even spirit as far as, we never too hot if we angry, we never too cold, communication and humor. I mean, she is so funny beyond that. I mean, I don't want no funny looking funny woman, but but she makes me laugh, and we laugh a lot. So laughter and humor is a very important part, because sometimes it can relieve tension in circumstances, or after the tense circumstances have taken place, you can laugh about something else, and that's important. But I think having someone that believes in you, I mean, to honestly have someone that says they believe, because she's sacrificed and surrendered some of her, her goals and not her goals, because she's always creating new avenues. But
yeah, she's always looking for the next. Yeah.
She had to have confidence in me to surrender her lifestyle and let me come into her life with her 2 kids and rely on me to be the head of the household and things of that nature. So to have that person believe in you, but she also believes in me and my goals and my pursuits. But more importantly, she's funny and she fine. So if you can find somebody like that, go for it. Now, if you can find somebody that's got one of the two, you can work on the other one. So guys, people could work out. There's things you could do to enhance yourself. But if you dry, just start taking them to comedy shows and watching little sitcoms and But like I said, I hit a lick, to be honest, and that's just the way I can put it. But I think in general, for people, it's compromise. And what people have to realize in relationships, and this is a very valid point, is that no matter how much you are bonded as a couple, you're still 2 individual people that have individual lives, that had individual desires and ways of doing things. My wife had never lived with a man before, so how she ran her household was how she ran her household. So I adhere to that. Basically, I'm not, if that's how you do your thing, that's how you do your thing. I'm not gonna come and say, well, this is how I like it, and then in my house is this,
Right.
I'm doing, so you gotta have compromise. I'm not henpecked, to the point where I don't have what I like, some of my issues, but she caters to that as well. So you got to continue to cater to each other. You got to continue to date each other. That's why you'll see if she posts something on Instagram and I see a Paul like, oh, I treat her like somebody would that's trying to get her. You know what I mean?
Right. You keep it going.
I'm gonna be the first one to say it, player. I know what you see, but I saw it too. Bam, flames, flames, kisses, blah.
Maurice on Facebook says she sounds like Michelle Obama.
Yeah, I can say that.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to write the book.
So that was my next question. Do you think you guys, oh, okay, this is very true, Damon, says Michael Stallworth. As a single man, I'm looking for someone who is easy to be around, admires intelligence and creativity. Thanks, Michael, on
Yep.
Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, you need
That's-
those. And if she looking a little peachy today, I'll put the peach and I'll put that eggplant right behind it. Because when I get home, it's going to. Oh, that's another thing I can say you need to do. Let me drop a bomb.
Says supporting each other's visions on Facebook. That's nice.
Yeah, that's all good. But listen to this, and I hope Mama ain't watching. People, you need to fuck.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And you know how some people, you look at couples, you go, are they still doing it? Are they? There's no doubt about you guys. There's no doubt.
Yeah, we were. I was on Windy City Live, and they had a survey about how often couples should, have romance. And I told them that 3 to 4 times a week is kind of the norm if everything is going right. And they were amazed, like, still, like, yeah, why would we stop?
Right.
I mean, if nothing else, when you look at the preview guide and you say, we saw this, we don't want to see that. Well, I guess what else we could do?
What you doing? Well, what you doing?
Right. Let's get up on the and that's a nice hobby. It's good for cardio. It releases endorphins, and it keeps down confusion. It's hard to argue with somebody if they made you tremble.
That is true. Communications is a major factor, Manuel Murphy. You're absolutely right on Facebook. And Damon, I want to know, do you think, because we have like less than a minute for this, do you think that you would ever write a book or do something? Because I know you guys travel and go to restaurants and things like that. Mm-hmm. So do you think you would ever put together a book or a series or something?
I think we're gonna just keep doing the foodie videos and maybe bump that up to YouTube, if at all. But once you start becoming like the preeminent and the experts and all that, then you turn into Derek Jackson, and I don't want no problem. So I don't.
Right. Okay.
I don't have all the answers.
And you don't. And you want to say Damon Williams don't want no problems like that.
No problem like that. As soon as you end up telling people that you're an expert or you're on the cover of a magazine and you become gold, then the bullshit happens. So. I'm gonna stay in my lane. Y'all can observe on Instagram, and that's just us living naturally.
There you go. Words to live by. Thank you, Damon, and thank you to Juanita for making you so happy, because that is great to see. It's time for entertainment, and Damon, this is something that has been irking me for a couple of weeks now. And we saw the video. This is Jimmy Fallon, where we saw him take the original TikTok dancers. And then the young lady who was trying to do imitate the same dances, and she did it very poorly. And folks are going, why are you going to this girl when you got the real TikTokers here, and including the TikTokers? And so last night on his show, on the late show, Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, he said this. And so let's look at what he has come up with.
On our last show before break, we did a bit with Addison Rae, where she taught me 8 viral TikTok dances. Now, we recognize that the creators of those dances deserve to have their own spotlight. So right now, some of the creators will join me to talk about how their dance went viral and then perform the dance themselves. Up first, we've got Maya Nicole Johnson and Chris Cotter, who created the viral dance to Cardi B's Up. Hey, Maya. Hey, Chris.
Hi. Hello.
Thanks for coming on the Tonight Show all the way from Houston.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, please. How long have you guys known each other?
It's been going to be 2 years.
What is it like to choreograph these dances together as a team?
It's really fun, especially when we're both really creative. So when we put our dances together, it just makes it even better.
And you came up with the dance to Up by Cardi B. What made you go with Up?
So basically, we already knew that we were linking up prior to the video. And so we already knew that Cardi B had just came out with a new song called Up, and it was going viral. Everyone was like listening to the song. So we knew that if we were to make like a challenge to it, it had the potential of going viral.
Now, Cardi B herself even reposted it. How great was that when you saw what she did?
That was really exciting. She posted our video 2 times on her Instagram and then 1 time on TikTok. So yeah, that was a good experience.
I love it. All right, you're going to perform your Up dance for us right now. Whenever you guys are ready, take it away. Thank you for being here.
So he did it with like four sets of dancers, and this was the original.
Okay.
This is the young couple from Houston, and I thought it was about time, but it was just amazing how much play this really poorly trained white girl was getting as a result of her poor imitations. And these kids, and this little girl's like, okay, that's all good, but why not have us on? And so that's when Jimmy Fallon said, we recognize they should get some shine too. And so it was 4 songs, 4 TikTok dances. 3 of the 4 people or groups were people of color, and then there was one group of 3 white boys, and I didn't get theirs either, but they, I just thought it was nice that they he did give them some shine and give them some time
Indeed.
to talk about it. So that was really sweet. Damon, we were talking about you being back on the road, and you were out on the West Coast. You came to Dallas, and now tomorrow night Riddles will be open. What are you guys doing at Riddles these days?
Yeah, we're doing on Wednesday nights. I've decided to do. I took it back to my roots in my beginning. I started on a Wednesday night at All Jokes Aside. It was open mic, hosted by Adele Givens, and Adele was the first person to hand me the mic. That when she eventually went on to bigger and better things, I became the host of that night, and we switched it and called it Apollo Night. So where we had any talent you have, you can come in and get down and do your thing. So it's $10 Wednesdays, and each week. Open mic comics, of course, but if you sing or poetry or R&B, preferably, I'm trying not to do too much hip hop because then I got to hire security. I mean, and I'm from the rap game, but I just know that some rap music and some rap followers are not the demo I'm looking for this particular evening. And then once they start coming, they'll overtake it. So we limit it to that, and it's just a fun evening. I decided I want to do something because Riddles is open, and I curate the weekends, Friday and Saturday. There's another guy that's doing Thursday and Sundays, but Riddles is now open 6 nights a week, and Wednesday was dormant, and so I'm almost never there when the road is kicking. I'm on the road, so this is a chance for Chicago people to come kick it with me. I get to try out my stuff and work on my material and have fun, and the room is really like an incubator. It's everybody that comes there said, man, I tried new jokes tonight that I wouldn't even thought of doing. So I want to give that platform to people who are up and coming. I'm also going to book professionals and some of the old heads that are not getting the weekend runs again. So some of the vets, so it's going to be an eclectic mix of entertainment. I may eventually incorporate a live band once it catches on. And summer is coming. So, people are going to need that extra boost to make them want to come and do something because it's going to be so much outdoor activity. So I think the live band aspect and the talent showcase situation, and you ain't got to be good at it. You could be terrible, like Apollo, it's going to be open.
Right.
So if you ever do, like this one lady she's a TSA agent, she comes all the time. She's very helpful around it, but she went up for the first time and killed it. She had props and everything. Her name was Jackie Perkins. And I was really proud to see it. In fact, I'm going to post her video tomorrow as part of the advertising for people to come out.
Good. It just reminds me of Bernie Mac when you talk about the live band and things like that.
That's exactly the vibe I want. That Milton Chenier feel when he had the band.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, remember?
I won't have the macaroni though, the background dancers. I won't have any macaroni.
Okay. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah. Awesome. Do you get a chance? You talk about watching TV and talking to Tom. Did you see the Mahalia Jackson movie?
I did not yet. No.
Okay. Even growing up in Chicago, Damon, I knew that Mahalia Jackson lived there, and what a big deal she was in the gospel world. But there's so much to her life that I learned, and which I enjoy, learning new things about people. And I thought Danielle Brooks did an amazing job. I thought she was really good.
I'm really a fan of that young lady, and I'm happy for her success and her story because from Orange is the New Black on up, everything we've seen her do, she nails it. She's so authentic. You could tell she's a natural. So what's a tidbit about Mahalia that you didn't know? Did she drink a little moonshine on the side? Or
she did. She was known to have a little bit of a spirit, but also she did not play when it came to men. Mahalia was getting it in. I mean, she was married to him, but she was about being one man, one woman, and doing what they're supposed to do biblically. But it was and she was about her business, about that. And,
Right.
and sometimes she just had to let the men go because, she was Mahalia Jackson, and a lot of them couldn't handle it.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's hard to be with Mahalia Jackson. First of all, she's righteous. Second of all, she's getting money, and you around here, Clarence, with a name tag,
Right.
cleaning up at the plant. So it's
Right.
a tricky thing, even though it shouldn't be an issue in relationships and those dynamics. But some men's ego just can't take, being second fiddle to the boss lady. I would have no problem. If my wife decided to get rich right now and told me that, you might have to slow down on all these joking and stuff, I'd be like, really? I would be Mr. Juanita in a minute.
I hear you. I used to say that, God, if there was just a guy at 3 o'clock in the morning when my alarm went off and said, I got you. I'm like, okay.
Ooh, I know you don't miss that alarm. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
People always say, y'all should do another morning show. You ain't trying to do radio. Not in the morning. I'm not. Boy, and I ain't even do it every day. You did it every day.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, let's give a shout out to the folks at Club Steppin'. Lamont Watts. Yeah. And I did some drops for them, and they play our What You Need to Know audio. And so I want to thank them for that and say
shouts out to Lamont. Yeah, he has a great premise. And that's a great thing here. And I hope it takes off to the fullest because he started out with the other radio station and now he's revamping and reinventing himself. And big ups to that brother.
Yeah. Good job. All right. So you were probably, I don't know if you were back in Chicago on Sunday, but there was a lot going on TV versus was Sunday night and other things. But history was made at the Screen Actors Guild Awards as people of color won the top film acting awards. This was historic as people of color swept all 4 major categories. Of course, Chadwick Boseman, the late great Chadwick Boseman, Viola Davis, Daniel Kaluuya, and Yoo Jung-yoon all won their respective categories. It was the first time since the SAG Awards began over 25 years ago. The minority actors won the leading actor, leading actress, supporting actor, and supporting actress awards. Boseman and Viola Davis won Best Actor and Actress for their roles in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. She mentioned the movie was adapted from the play of August Wilson. She said leaves a legacy for actors of color, which is right. You do August Wilson, you're going to have a lot of Black folks in there, right? Daniel Kaluuya, who was also hosting Saturday Night Live the night before, won Best Supporting Actress for his role in Judas and the Black Messiah. And he and Lakeith Stanfield have really done incredible work in that movie. And and so this was the last one, was the Asian woman who won her Best Supporting Actress for her role in Minari. And so that was good and historic as well. So congratulations on that. It is now time to take a look at Yogi's Jewels for the day, our daily inspiration every day. And today's is life is a precious gift. Let us give thanks. So I thank you. I thank you and you, all of you folks who have joined us today. And Damon, thank you so much. I so appreciate you. I really do.
I love you, and I'm always here for you when you need me. Break the glass.
and more often as well. And give my love to Juanita and to the pups.
Yes, the pups got a new attachment for the bicycle, so we rode them up to the park today. They went in a little cart, and then they ran around. It's going to be video. So go to Instagram. J underscore Bola for the pursuits and the movements of the dogs. I try to keep some of that off my page because it's diminishing my gangster, and I'm still here.
It is time for us to say goodbye. Damon, thank you. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Stephen Hill and Myra J. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Damon. Appreciate you.
All right, love.
He can tell you about their first dance, but he can't remember my name. I'm his daughter.
Half of all Black families are impacted by Alzheimer's, but we don't know why. At HSC, we are investing in a new research study to find solutions for your family. To join the research study, visit blackalzbrainstudy.com or call 817-735-2963.